Hello all. The topic of this video is how to confirm whether your table is in third normal form or not. Um, so instead of using a traditional definition about functional dependencies and so on, I'm going to show a two-step uh, two-step method that lets you ask a simple question and with yes no answer, and this answer is basically uh, the one that you're looking for. So first, Hugh Darwin in his book says that basically second normal form, third normal form, and Beckus code normal form are, for our purposes, the same. They should have been taught as one, but unfortunately it doesn't happen. That's a separate like a thing about the relational theory that I'm going to talk about some time. But we're basically talking about all three. So let's look again at our sample tables, cities and restaurants. And the first thing that we need to do is to find where the ID is, basically where the primary key is. In our example, it's very simple. It's just the ID column. So step one is done. Second part is we uh, we take each of the column except for the primary key, and we ask the same question. For example, let's take a cities table and look at the name column. Does it make sense, in principle, to change the name for city ID for city with a certain ID, like 1, and only for this city with ID 1, right? The answer is yes, and that means that this column is in third normal form. The answer is yes, because we know that city can get renamed. It's very pretty simple example. Let's look at more maybe a little bit more difficult cases, and for them it may sometimes help if we kind of imagine that there is no database, there is no computer. It's just we still have business, but we do that in the beginning of 20th century, right? And we only have pieces of paper with pens and so on. Let's take a look at the restaurants table. So the primary key is ID. We already know that because either we designed the table like that or somebody told us that. Let's take a look at name column. Does it make sense in principle to change the name for restaurant with a certain ID and only for the restaurant with a certain ID? The answer is yes, because you can rename your restaurant. So this column is also in third normal form. Before looking at city ID, let's look at the city name column. Suppose that we were presented with a table that has this column, right? So we know that there is a it corresponds the city name corresponds to city ID, right? Does it make sense in principle to change the city name for a certain restaurant and only for this restaurant? The answer is no, and that's why the city name column in table restaurants is in violation of third normal form. Now we can take a look at city ID. Does it make sense, in principle, to change the city ID for a certain restaurant and only for this restaurant? The answer is yes. So here it's a bit more like we have to think a bit more broadly. Like usually restaurants don't move between cities, right? But sometimes this still happens. There are valid cases in reality where this happens. One example is when we actually need to fix the data entry problem. And we can fix the data entry problem. Suppose that somebody, when they registered the restaurant in our system, they provided a different city because they wanted to kind of have more traffic from people who thought that this restaurant is closer than they think, or something like that. So we can change city ID. We can fix this data entry issue. And also, of course, restaurants can, like cities can split or merge and something like that. So yes, we can look at the business, at the nature of the business, and we can answer this question either for like ourselves, based on our knowledge about how the world works, or we can ask somebody who knows about business. Another example why we say in principle is because for some attributes, for some columns, we just do not change their values. Like, for example, time placed for order. We recorded the order in our database, and usually we don't change it because we want to, that's like a immutable fact, right? But this is only valid for computer systems. Imagine that, again, there is no database, and we just work in some sort of logbook. We can sometimes make a mistake and enter incorrect time, and we can change it. So just in case, this is important because in databases, there are many immutable attributes, but they're still in third normal form, even though they never change, but they could be changed in principle. Let's take a look at a more at another example that would go even beyond third normal form, but it's still like fully relevant to database modeling practice, contrary to what people sometimes tell you, what you can sometimes hear, that normal forms higher than third normal form are I don't know, exotic, academic. That's not the case at all. The table that stores developers assigned to projects and vice versa. The completely standard way to design this sort of table, it's many-to-many relationship. So we our primary key is going to be developer ID and project ID. So our primary key is composite, and we can, if there is a row about developer, like developer with ID 200 is assigned to project ID 32, right? And there could also be additional attributes, for example, assigned since, which is when they were assigned to this project. So we found our primary key. It's a pair of developer ID, project ID. Now we can say, now we can ask the question, does it make sense in principle to change the assigned since value for the developer with a certain ID assignment to a certain project ID and only for that pair? The answer is yes. Again, we can fix the mistake, or we can maybe somebody misunderstood something, so we can change it. So assigned scenes column is in third normal form. But also um, in one of the follow-up videos, we're going to talk about the fourth normal form. And I just want to say that this table is actually in fourth normal form. Contrary to popular, I don't know, misconception about this, contrary to how this is taught often in various texts all over the internet. So this is how to confirm the if the attribute value is in third normal form. In the follow-up videos, I'm going to talk about why third normal form is a trivial theory in an algebraical sense. Sometimes the common sense is not enough for database modeling, and you must know precisely how the business works to answer the question: is my database correct? Is my schema correct? And similar questions. We will talk about why normalize your table is non-actionable advice, and we will talk about the secondary data and how to manage the data duplication that happens. So I wrote a book. It's called Database Design Book. It talks about database design starting from business requirements, and it does not mention classical database theory, but it's nevertheless compatible with all the theory that you have. And in those videos, I'm trying to explain why this decision was made. Thank you for watching.